Welcome to Quest Means Show Business. Broadway's biggest night of nights is right around the corner. The 2018 Tony Awards is on Sunday from Radio City Music Hall in New York City. Looking at the nominations, Mean Girls, the musical, and SpongeBob SquarePants, the musical, lead the way with 12 each. Following on, Angels in America, The Band's Visit, and Carousel have 11 nominations. And Harry Potter and the Cursed Child gets 10 nominations. Hunter Arnold is the Tony Award-winning producer of Dear Evan Hansen. He's also behind Once on This Island, which has multiple nominations on Sunday, and he joins me in the C-suite. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
Full disclosure, we just joked as you sat down that you're filling tough shoes to make that turn, but this is why we need Broadway and entertainment, and people look for an escape because of terrible weeks like this. By all accounts, it's been a really good year for Broadway. What do you think is driving that? Is it that we're all looking for not only entertainment, but live entertainment? Is it the type of shows going on the stage? What do you think is behind it?
I think at the end of the day, the thing about Broadway and live theater is that it's truly about communing, and it's about bringing people together and telling stories that impact people and make people think and feel and change. And I think right now there's a lot of anger and confusion in the world. I mean, just what we're seeing this last couple of days. And people are looking for something to make them have hope and make them feel like there is beauty in the world and there is possibility in the world. And theater does that better than any other art form.
Yeah, and to be submersed in it, right?
Yeah.
When we're viewing it or watching movies, as we tend to do on our tablets and everywhere else, the life's distractions, and you hit it and you pause and you're multitasking. When you go into a theater, the lights go down, they shut the doors, and you are a captive audience for that time, and you get to be taken wherever they're going. I notice a lot of we sing a lot of migration from Hollywood, though, into theater. The names that you've been associated, we mentioned, are originals and well-loved ones, but there are some that we mentioned in the Tony rundown that are ripped right from Hollywood. Is that a trend you think is going to continue, and is it because that's what drives people into the seats?
Well, I think at the end of the day, in any entertainment industry, brand matters. And the thing about Hollywood or books or even things like Hamilton that are based on somebody that's historically known as a brand, right? There's a brand there. People tend to, you start a little bit further down the raceway, you know? And so it comes and it goes. But if you look at this year, I mean, Best Musical category is a great example of this. One of the frontrunners is this incredibly sort of beautiful, totally new, completely unlike anything else that's running this season. So there's always room for all kinds of shows. I think that's the beauty of the industry. We can do big commercial, glitzy, Broadway, you know, kick lines, and we can do quiet things that are about thought and beauty and connection.
Yeah, and you're doing Pretty Woman too, so you are clearly doing both of those things. I assume that you think that the rising tide lifts all boats. Does that crowd out when you're looking for financing, say? Do you have to have, say, where's my star? Where's my Hollywood? Where's my movie tie-in? Or does the success now that people see with it allow you to get the money to do those other projects that you insiders may really believe in, but may not have been able to kind of get the capital backing that you got before?
I think like any business that you're out fundraising for, it's about whether or not you have a compelling story, and it's about finding the right people to support that. And listen, this year there are some rather brand-based consumer stories, but there's also small ones. And the last 2 years, right, Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen are both completely original.
Yeah, and Hamilton, who knew Hamilton could be as sexy as it's revived a whole interest in history.
That's right, that's right. And it's made it cool to young people, and it's created new audiences for Broadway. And so I think people understand that, like any market, you need a balance of products. The audience is broad and smart, so the products have to be broad and smart.
Where do you see the most demand coming from? You know, is it a sort of tourist population filling up the shows? Are people sort of falling in love with theater again for the reasons that we talked about? I mean, is this a kind of renaissance of theater?
I mean, I do think that some of these unbelievable successes of the past few years have woken non-traditional theater attendees to the fact that, like, oh, this is an experience that really is incredible and people are liking, and I got to go see what that is. So certainly to see the audience expanding, and even seeing musicals be back in vogue on the silver screen, right? There's a lot of movies.
Yeah.
You've got Greatest Showman. You've got, you know, all this stuff that's been out there. I don't know that it's a renaissance, but I certainly think it's, you know, it's a new era of mass appreciation
I see it with younger people too, which I think is really interesting. They are interested in going. You don't have to twist their arm and say, "Come sit through." You know, it's not seen as something that you want to go to with your grandma. It's very hip, and I think Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen and a lot of those, and the great writers and music coming from it certainly helps with that. We know you have skin in the game, but any Tony predictions? Come on.
Oh, I predict that it will be an incredible show. You know,
full of singing and dancing.
Sarah and Josh are going to be fun to watch. There'll be a lot of great performances. That's about as far as I'm willing to go out on that.
You can't make any enemies, can you? It would be like picking your favorite child. We won't make you do that.